Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, whoever you are, to the channel. Welcome to the garage. This is my space where I work on stuff and come up with a lot of thoughts that bounce around my head, and I tend to share with you guys. So this was something that I had thought about previously and again wrote down, made note of, tried to get more clarity on it, because sometimes when things are just ping-ponging around the head, there's not a whole lot of clarity that always comes with it. I kind of have to start maybe, fleecing them out in writing to better understand what I'm trying to say. Because let's face it, I am not the best with words. So today, I'm sharing this. I was actually going to sleep a while back and thinking about things because, well, let's face it, my head just runs like all the time and I always got a lot bouncing around. So anyhow, gratitude is the magic. Now, for those of you that don't know about gratitude practices, there's a lot to be said for them. And I've spoken previously about the negativity that's prevalent in our world, in our lives, in our societies and culture. Sorry, camera battery died. Negativity. We tend to focus a lot on the negative as a society, as individuals, everything. That's not so good. That's probably part of the reason that we have a big mental health problem in this country, in the world. We're always focusing on the negative things. We're feeding the wrong wolf. So that being said, there's a lot of research out there talking about gratitude practices and how gratitude can help. And really, it is magic because it starts to shift your focus. What is a gratitude practice? Basically, you can start by trying to come up with 3 things every day that you're grateful for. Whether that was simply the fact that you got up out of bed this morning and got your ass to work. Or it could be in the fact that you had a funny interaction, messaging your friend, or saw your cat do something goofy, or whatever the case may be. It can be ridiculously simple. That you had a wonderful cup of coffee in the morning. It doesn't matter. The fact is, just find 3 things to be grateful for every day. And from that practice, you can start to grow, to exercise that gratitude muscle, to develop a focus on positivity. Because as you start to look around and focus on the things to be grateful for, you start to find more things to be grateful for. Because after all, energy goes where focus flows. No, energy flows where focus goes. There we go. I knew I'd get it right. That which we focus on is what propagates in our world, in our experience. Because we don't experience life as it is, we experience life as we are. So we think we see the truth in all things, but we only see our perspective of the world, which is limited by that which we cannot see, that which we are unaware of. So gratitude, it helps to develop the focus on positive things in your life instead of the negative all the time. And I had some thoughts on this, whether I've just covered them or not. I don't know. We'll read it and we'll see. So as I was lying in bed awaiting sleep, reflecting upon the day past and recollecting the moments I had gratitude for, a thought drifted into my perception. Gratitude is the magic. Now, this isn't a new thing to me, or many people these days, but what set it apart was what else came with it. Exercise and physical activity is a form of gratitude for the physical being and what it's capable of. When you're struck with inspiration to write a book or create something, that's your gift, and it's on you to share it with the world. The completed work of art is what is needed in the world for others to see and experience. If you're seeking validation for the idea, if you're seeking validation for the idea, you seeking something externally which you haven't created yet internally. I don't think that came out right. I think there's a correction to be made here. If you're seeking validation for the idea, you're seeking something externally which you haven't created yet internally. So because you're seeking validation, you have not validated it within yourself. You're not okay with it yourself, so you're looking for it outside of you. The idea, by nature of existence, is everything. Credit for the idea is an egoic structure, seeking love for being the one who came up with an idea, as opposed to merely being the channel, the conduit for which it came through. And that's a step in the wrong direction. We're here to learn and create. We're here to love and exist. Create and let go. We're all channels, but we make the mistake of believing that the ideas we come up with originate from us. Our world existence has led us to believe in lack and insufficiency, and we've maintained that mindset for everything ever since. So as you can see, even my writings birdwalk off topic. So I went from gratitude to creation and how we create and what is the imagination. A lot of our science and medical technology says the imagination is something that exists in the brain, but where does that come from? A lot of our esoteric wisdom and perhaps even some of the quantum physics studies are starting to basically indicate that the brain is a receiver from a as yet unknown transmitter. So where I was going with what was written is all the great artists, the great writers, the great creators of anything, including me right now creating this for you guys to watch. This came as an idea, as some nature of inspiration, something that popped into our head as imagination. But again, what is imagination but a tuning of the radio into the channel that receives what is being broadcast? So I thereby am just tuned into the channel that is giving this to you. So yeah, I kind of got into the concept of the ego, the individual identity, which is very important to have, but it's also something that you don't want to get tied up in too much because it can very much get you stuck as well. You can either go into the idea of non-ego and really kind of drift off out into fairyland, or you can get quagmired in the idea of ego, and I think that's kind of what we've done collectively as a society that's gotten us stuck. We've identified too much as our individual personality self, not zoomed back into the perspective of the divine higher self that is also an active participant and player in our lives, and maybe zoomed out a little farther to the idea of a collective consciousness, thereby creating a collective Godhead creator that is the collective consciousness, if you will. So we've zoomed in a little too far as a society. We've separated ourselves individually to such an extent that we don't acknowledge our neighbor that disagrees with us as a human being that has thoughts and feelings in the same way that you do. So I got off track a little bit from gratitude. So this is sort of a multifaceted thing, and it's just the way it goes. I'm sorry. It's the way things are going to play out on the channel, and it's a fact of my nature and the way I am, and it's the way it's going to be. So deal with it or not, and don't watch. Either way, I want to thank you guys for watching this far through my ramblings and tuning in to another episode of The Garage. Take care, guys.